Hey, Bear Trucker here. I haven't done an update in a while. I went home to visit my dad, and that went well. My brother came down. It was great. Um, we had a good time. Unfortunately, my brother had to leave early, so um, but I got to spend some good quality time with my parents, and that was nice. Um, I'm sitting in Texarkana right now. Uh, and we just got about 6 inches of snow. My company is based in Texarkana, so I'm here at our terminal. This is where we go to get all of our uh, maintenance done, and whenever we have a problem with our truck, we come. Usually, if we can make it here, we come here to get our truck fixed. Um, I was in Chicago a couple of days ago, and then I got sent down to Muskogee, Oklahoma. And in Muskogee, Oklahoma, there was a dock that was too small for my truck to fit in, and it had a little culvert, a little drainage ditch right in front of it. And on the other side of that drainage ditch, there was an embankment, a concrete embankment. So as I was backing in to a spot that was too small for me to get unloaded, my front tires, we call them our steer tires, my steer tire went down into that little culvert there, maybe a drop of about 6 inches or so. But when that happened, my bumper got caught on the concrete embankment, and my bumper got ripped off. So I am in Texarkana. They've already repaired that, but I asked them to do a couple of other things to my truck. Um, so I'm finally getting my inverter installed so that I can uh, hook up my refrigerator. Now, an inverter is something that takes battery current and turns it into 120. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I know that they are very delicate things, and I have managed to blow a couple of them up. So I'm not the most mechanically inclined person, obviously, and so whenever I need something done like that, I have someone else do it, so that way if anything goes wrong, I can blame it on them. Anyway, so I'm having my inverter installed, and that's going to be fantastic once I get a refrigerator in here, because it means that I don't have to eat fast food anymore. I hate fast food. I am so tired of it. I don't know if you noticed this or not, but anywhere that a truck can park, uh, usually at a truck stop, um, usually inside that truck stop, you have one, if you're lucky, you have two choices of where to eat. But the one consistent choice out of everything is Subway. I don't know whose idea it was to put a Subway in every single truck stop in the country, but let me tell you, I will never eat a Subway sandwich again unless I am completely starving to death. I can't stand Subway. Um, it's funny. I used to love Subway a long time ago before I started driving a truck and before they decided to put Subways in every truck stop. And I used to really enjoy a couple of their sandwiches. Now, it nauseates me to walk into a truck stop and smell uh, the smell of Subway. I don't know if you remember the smell of Subway or not, but it's totally, thoroughly disgusting to me now. I can't stand it anymore. Um, uh, my friend Nancy said that she was tired of eating things that crinkle when you eat them. And I totally agree with that sentiment now. Um, and what she meant was the wrapper. When you take the wrapper off, it crinkles. And so whatever is in the wrapper is usually some, what my other friend Marty calls dead food. It's completely processed. It's completely nasty. It's got all kinds of additives and preservatives and trans fats, and it's just horrible, horrible stuff. It's no wonder that we have such an obesity problem with truck drivers and with America in general, because these foods are just disgusting. And I would love to have some sort of alternative, uh, some kind of health food alternative would be great. Um, but they haven't gotten that advanced yet in truck driving. I mean, hell, they haven't even, caught on to the fact that homosexuals are in their midst, and there are quite a few homosexual truck drivers. Um, I don't tend to meet a lot of them. I meet a lot of lesbians, but I don't meet a lot of gay men. And so, needless to say, it gets a little bit kind of lonely out here for your own kind. Every now and then, I what I do is I take a what I call a gay break. Um, I'll pick a city someplace that I know I can park my truck in pretty easily. Usually that city will have some sort of mass transportation like the metro in DC or um, the L in Chicago or something like that. And the last time I was able to do that was in Portland, and I had a really, really good time. I took a weekend off. I parked at a truck stop which is close to downtown. I walked over to their transit system and bought an all-day ticket. And I went downtown and I had a drink at a gay bar, and then I went over to a restaurant and had a really good dinner. Um, and then I went back to the gay bar and had a couple more drinks, and then called it a night. Um, so that was kind of my entertainment. So anyway, I'm gonna since I have decided that I don't want to pay rent anymore. I pretty much put all of my stuff in storage, and I'm kind of living out of my truck now. Um, and so I've decided that since I'm doing this job, and since I don't have, excuse me, I don't have much overhead, I decided what I was going to do was just pick a city in the United States and somewhere. I think next time around I'm going to go to San Diego, and probably this summer when it warms up a little bit, I'll go to San Francisco. I can't stand to be cold, and when you're on foot and you're kind of walking to see what you want to see, um, I would prefer to do it in the summertime. So I've been to a lot of cities, and I've gotten to drive through, and I get to know them pretty well. But there aren't very many cities that I go to that I actually get to play. Um, so I've managed to do it in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Oklahoma City, and Portland. And DC and me go way back. I was born in West Virginia. My father was in the military, and we moved around a lot. So after my father divorced, my mother got the map of the United States out and said, "Where do you want to live?" Um, she sat me and my sister down and pointed at the map and said, "All right, pick a place." And so we ended up picking Norfolk, Virginia. Um, so I lived there for roughly, I don't know, 10 years or something like that. So DC and I are old friends. It's only about 4 hours away from Norfolk, and so I love going up there. Um, the one place I haven't played yet is in New York. Uh, I have this weird kind of phobia thing where I get really freaked out by being surrounded by things that are like mm, horribly bigger than I am. And the first time that I went to New York City, I got down into Manhattan, and all I could see around me were buildings that went straight up into the sky, and I could barely see the sky, and the streets were so crowded, and everything was so crowded, and I had an anxiety attack and just completely freaked out. So don't know what that's all about, but so New York I've kind of put on the back burner. Um, Plus, I don't have a lot of money, so and it takes a lot of money to go there, so uh, that one can wait for a little while. Um, Another place I'd like to explore a lot is Vermont. I think Vermont is beautiful. Uh, is one of the most beautiful states I've ever been to, and after a while, it's funny. It's not a very big state. It's only about 80 or 90 miles across from east to west. Um, but by the time I went from the southeast corner of Vermont uh, to the kind of midwest corner of Vermont, I was sick of beautiful. I was like just completely okay. I'm done. There's too much beauty. I can't handle it. It's just too much. It's overwhelming. So that was nice. And so that's about it on the travels. Anyway, my stepmonster Judy uh, got me a little cooler for Christmas, and it's come in quite handy. Um, I managed to stop off at the store and get some supplies, and it's a good thing that I did because it snowed here, and so everything is completely locked down. And I don't know exactly uh, where you may be from, but I can tell you one thing. When it snows south of the Mason-Dixon line, or anywhere in the West, people go absolutely batshit. They just cannot deal with the snow. And so a couple of places can completely shut a city like Texarkana down. So I'm glad I had food with me. But anyway, the cooler worked out great. Uh, and I got to download some new songs, and so that's been cool. It's been a nice break. Unfortunately, I explained a little bit before about my back, and the problem that I have with the discs kind of wearing out before they're supposed to, and every now and then I have to go in and get a surgery, and I get little warning signs, when I'm about to start having some real trouble with my back. And one of the first things that happens is usually one of my extremities will go a little numb, almost like when your foot falls asleep. And so for the past couple of weeks, I've been having that in my pinky on my left hand. And the last couple of days, I have been hurting quite a bit um, in my neck, and usually it goes down from the top of my neck, about right there, down to my shoulder, and it's kind of a pulling sensation down here, and up here it's just kind of this biting, kind of aching pain, almost like when you sleep on your neck wrong. So I'm kind of apprehensive about that. I really don't want to go through another surgery again, and I can't afford to take the time off of work. And I'm sick of this. This has been 20 years of putting up with this nonsense. And the last time they didn't listen to me. The last time I went into the doctor, I said, "Would you just, remove my spine? Just take it out. I don't need it. Just prop me upright someplace and I'll be fine." But he didn't listen. It's just like the hairstylist. Every time I go to the hairstylist, I say, "Okay, look, I want more here and I want less here," and they never listen. So anyway, so that's that. It is the 9th of January 2011. Happy New Year, y'all. And yesterday was a birthday for a friend of mine who he and I have kind of fallen out of sorts. Um, we had been friends for, it's actually 30 years this year. Um, and so I was thinking about him a little bit yesterday. Um, Not enough to call him up and go, "Hey, I'm sorry, let's put this all to rest," because I've done that so many times before. Um, it just seems like beating a dead horse at this point. But anyway, so I guess that's about all I wanted to talk about this time around. I hope you guys had a wonderful holiday season. I hope that your New Year was spectacular. I hope you went out and did it up right, and hopefully you didn't wake up too sore New Year's Day. And I look forward to seeing you out there. Be safe, and watch for motorcycles. All right.